a clip that I just found extremely amazing. Okay. How do you have time for your life? What a 9 to 5?
She opens the video crying.
I know I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, like my first 9 to 5 job after college, and I'm in person, and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me forever to get there. There's no way I'm going to be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Like,
okay, so the first thing that is interesting to me is that this is her first full-time job after graduating college.
Yeah.
What I remember about college was having to work. So I remember working multiple part-time jobs in college and having to take classes. So when I finished college and I just had to go to work, I was ecstatic.
Yo, I was thinking the same thing because my wife worked 2 jobs and went to college and then graduated after 5 years. Mm-hmm. And it was the same thing. I was like, you just wait. You just wait till you graduate, because on the other side of graduation is like a regular 9 to 5.
A regular,
and it's so cushy.
You do one thing a day instead of 3 things a day.
Yeah, and then there's in the daytime, not the nighttime.
Right.
You actually get to like go home and relax at night.
Yeah. So it sounds like maybe she just had a totally different college experience, right? Maybe we had more of like a poor,
more of a like
poor,
self-sufficient
college experience, and she probably was like in the sororities and like in all the activities, rent's paid, and like don't have to do anything but like go to school and like hanging out. Maybe that was her experience. So then when you get out and you actually got to like work and do stuff that's challenging, it took her by surprise. I get it.
if I was able to walk to work, and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, like, I leave here, like, I get on the train at 7:30 and I don't get home till like 6:15 earliest, and then like I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. Like, I don't have energy to work out. Like, that's out the window. Like, I'm so upset.
Pause it.
She gets so high pitched. Like, you know, it's real too. She's not even faking. She's like, I'm so upset.
Man. 7:30 to 6:15.
That's not an easy schedule. It's like, I get it. She has a long commute, is what she's saying.
Well, she's taking a train, so she's not driving.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also probably a major city, so if driving will take probably the same amount of time or something like that.
Is it different taking public transportation than driving though?
I mean, it depends on the city. What I'm saying is that, like, if she wasn't in a really big city and she could drive, like, she could leave 15 minutes before work.
Yeah,
she could do that. But if she's taking public transportation, or she would get stuck in lots of traffic, it's gonna take her an hour to get to work.
Sure.
So
I'm just saying, what is easier on one's physical health? Taking a 45-minute public transportation, like you're in New York, you take a train, you get on another train, and then you're at work, or sitting in 45 minutes of traffic.
Oh yeah, definitely the train.
The train is easier.
Yeah. You're walking.
Right?
You're getting some fresh air.
You're moving out. You're not getting fresh air in New York. you can have a book. You can listen to a podcast. You can
get stabbed.
No, hopefully not. So I just feel like, isn't there? If you're taking public transportation, I would feel like maybe some of that time could be redeemed a bit, so you're not feeling like that's time wasted.
Yeah.
Right? You could be doing something.
Do some burpees while you're waiting.
Not burpees, but like reading a book. Like doing something that you find enjoyable is what I'm saying.
Totally agree.
Right?
Had nothing to do with my job at all, but just like the 9 to 5 schedule in general.
So she likes her job. She's saying there's nothing wrong with her job. She likes her job. She just is stuck with the 9 to 5 schedule.
Yeah.
So she's leaving at 7:30. She's back at 6:15. How many hours is that? That's 8 to 6 would be 10 out. No. Yeah, 10 hours. Yeah, so it's 10 and a half hours. She's out 10 and a half hours.
Yeah.
Crazy. Being in the office 9 to 5, like, if it was remote, you get off at 5 and you're home and everything's fine. But like, I'm not home. It takes me long to get home, and like people that drive to the office, like, you don't get off at 5. And I know it could be worse. I know I could be working longer, but like, I literally get off, it's pitch black. Like, I don't have energy. How do you have friends? Like, how do you have time to...
Can you look up the working hours in China? Curious what their working hours are.
8 hours per day, 44 hours a week, so maybe a little bit over 8.
6 hours. I mean, 6 days a week.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, China's 6 days a week. They get 1 day off.
Whoa.
If you're lucky, and a lot of people work way more than that in China. I've seen documentaries about it.
That's crazy.
They're definitely going harder than this.
To like meet, like, a guy. I don't know. Like, how do you have time for, like, dating? Like, I don't have time for anything, and I'm, like, so stressed out. And I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional. But, like, am I so dramatic? It's fine.
Yes, you are. You're so dramatic.
I know I'm
you're being dramatic, and you're oversharing.
That's definitely oversharing.
You're oversharing. Listen, life can be difficult. Life could be more difficult. Life could be less difficult. The issue isn't in life being difficult. The issue is examining what season you're in and figuring out if the steps you're taking are in the right, if the things you're doing are aligned for the season that you're supposed to be in. Sometimes we could be in the right bus on the wrong seat. Sometimes we could be in the wrong bus altogether. Ideally, you want to be in the right bus on the right seat. And so I think therein lies the tension she's dealing with. If you are working a job where you have to travel, you have a couple options. One, you could get a different job.
Okay, get a closer job.
You get a closer job. 2, you can live on less and be closer to your job.
Yeah.
3, you can develop more skills and get some sort of certification and pivot to a different career.
Okay.
Meaning that if you don't like what you're doing, maybe you lean into some of the skills you've learned from college to then get certified in something else that's congruent or aligned with your skill set so that you can work from home, right? And if you're working 9 to 5 from home and then you get off in your home, now you have a job. And there are some jobs that are more likely, to work from home and accommodate remote work than others, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think all of these different things factor in what you are involved in. The issue, I think, the deeper issue is that college clearly didn't prepare this young lady for the real world.
Yeah.
She probably didn't learn enough high-value skills in college to be worth more in the market. And 3, she clearly didn't build her network enough that even if she did have some great skills, let's just say she has a unicorn of a skill set, she's crushing it in multiple things, she didn't develop enough of those skills to be able to go out and partner and network and work with people that could potentially earn, so she could earn more money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so the relationship thing didn't get worked out. And so I think that's the tension that she's in, is that, yes, it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard. Being an adult is hard. Being an adult, if you could find the sweet spot to be in the right seat on the right bus at the right time, is how you make it easier for yourself. And oftentimes, you first got to start to develop a passion and a love for what's already in front of you, and doing that with excellence before you can transition into trying to find what you love to do. Love what you do before you get to do what you love. Too many people don't understand that you first got to be faithful to what's in front of you so that you could pivot over to what's in to what you want to be doing. Here's a very practical example. I'll give you guys an example of being on the right bus on the right bus in the right seat. When I was younger, I used to scoff at people who worked at restaurants because I thought, sure, they make more because they earn more tips, but they don't have their weekends. They don't have a life. They can't go to as many Bible studies as I can go to. They don't, right? They don't get to serve as much as I get to serve at church, which was good.
Yeah.
What I was missing was that in that specific season, what I should have been doing is probably working a job where my income wasn't limited by the amount of hours I was working, but instead limited by the service I was delivering. And I could have also been learning people better. So I could have been learning how to serve people better, potentially working in the restaurant industry, while developing the skills that could help me leverage that. So I'm learning people, I'm learning service, I'm earning more money, and I'm also developing skills on the side because I don't have to work as much.
Yeah.
Right? I could work 20 hours at a restaurant, make twice as much money than working 40 hours at a Joe job where I wasn't making as much money, taking those skills, stacking those skills, and then you have a unicorn of a skill set. That's what I mean. And so, like, I was scoffing at people that worked at restaurants when in reality, I probably should have been working at a restaurant. I probably should have been doing something where I can have tips and not have a lid on my income while I was developing the skill set to help me eventually pivot over into something more sustainable from a career standpoint. We see, according to the Bible, that prayer is extremely important in terms of us being transformed from the inside out when we get aligned with God's will. For the Christians watching this channel, I want you guys to implement these spiritual disciplines in your day-to-day life. And the only way I've been able to do this consistently is through writing down my prayers in a prayer journal that does a few things. One, it allows me to reflect and come to God humbly and ask him to move on my behalf. And two, it allows me to document my prayers, which ultimately help me remember the very things that I was praying for and see the hand of God tangibly in my life when he answers them. So I would urge you, consider writing down your prayers. It could be in a blank notebook. It could even be on your phone. Or you could check out the one I personally designed and used from my own quiet time and spiritual discipline that I think will be a huge blessing. It's the exact structure and system that I've used for years to pray and be more consistent in my spiritual disciplines. You can pick yours up today by clicking the link in the pinned comment below. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.